Hey, I love life hacks. It's the reality. If you make really foolish decisions, bad things can happen. It happened to me a couple of weeks ago. Made a bad decision about driving, paid a ticket, went to fool school, the whole 9 yards. And here's the reality. The quality and direction of your life is determined by the decisions that you make. And so we've talked about how you can grow in wisdom, you can grow in foolishness, which is really simple. Wisdom is being able to read a room. Wisdom is being able to read the road that you're on so that you know where you're going to wind up. Foolishness is more like being naive, building a bubble, staying just within this realm so you don't learn anything new. It's also getting to a place where you just say, hey, I don't care. I just don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to make my own reality, my own rules. And one of the ways you know how you're doing, because this is really hard to have introspection, is to look at your friends. If you've got great friends that are fools, man, probably that's the direction you're heading. If you've got really wise friends, then maybe you're going in a different direction. But the friends you choose will determine your future. Now, one of the great shows that I love that really shows this the best is Mean Girls. I think everybody should watch it. And you see what a frenemy is. A frenemy is a friend who is in competition with you that keeps you in a state of confusion about their motives in your relationship and your worth. And you see that all through Mean Girls, the plastics, and the wannabes and the pretenders and the queen bees. And the reality is not everybody that you bring into your life is really a true friend. So Proverbs talks a lot about that. And we talked about that Sunday, but a friend is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. A friend is a friend for all times. A friend loves at all times. And here's the big idea, man. You need friendships. You need people in your life that are close to you. You need a marriage based on friendship. And when you go all the way back to Genesis chapter 2, the whole relationship was built on friendship, not on sex and romance. And the reality is for marriage, if you want it to be good, man, you got to say, hey, to the other stuff, that's easy. The part we want to work on is our friendship. And you say, well, how do you do that? Well, you got to be intentional. You got to be intentional about being a friend and having good friends. And I want to walk through the 4 legs of a table for great friendships. And this could be not just the kind of people you're looking for, but the person you want to be. And the first is your person that's available. You got to have time. A friend loves at all times. And sometimes my friends, they'll, and my kids and my wife, they will try to contact me at the very worst time. But the reality is you don't ghost them. If you can't get with them and you can't connect with them, you simply send them a text or you let them know later, hey, I was in this meeting and I couldn't get to you. But a friend loves at all times. And not just because you're trying to get something from them, but because you truly care about them. So you are available, and then you're aware. You're aware of how they're wired. With my friends and with my wife, I can almost complete the sentences. And one of the dangers of knowing somebody, and this is something you want to understand, is the ability to gaslight somebody. That may not be a term that you know about, but gaslighting is manipulating by playing with their emotions and causing them to doubt their judgment and their worth to you. And one of the dangers of knowing somebody well is that you can use that against them to kind of manipulate them, and great friends don't do that. Proverbs 27:14 says, one who blesses one loudly in the morning that's taken as a curse. And the reality is that they were just disconnected with this person. They know they're not a morning person, but yet they're talking loud and they're being sarcastic. And the way people who are frenemies handle it is they say, oh, I was just joking. I didn't mean anything by it. You're being too sensitive. And they put it all back on you. And maybe you do that by asking hard questions. And this is where it begins to really take you to another level. When you decide, I love this person enough to go the last 10%, to ask them questions that may be uncomfortable, really uncomfortable for me, but also uncomfortable for them. Proverbs 27:5 says, better is an open rebuke than hidden love. And real friends don't let friends slide. I mean, yeah, you got to choose the right time. Yeah, you got to choose the right words. And yes, you got to be kind, but you ask them questions that they may not really feel comfortable in answering. Proverbs 27:6 says the words of a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses. And that's just simply saying that a real friend will call you on something, but a frenemy will just say, no, you're okay. Hey, you deserve that. It's going to be okay. And you've seen this happen. I've seen it happen with ladies where, a girl has lipstick on her teeth and nobody says anything. And you're like, whoa, it's crazy. And they're thinking, I'm glad it's not me. Now, guys, if you got a guy friend that has lipstick on his teeth, that's a different, story altogether. But here's the reality. You're willing to go the last 10% in areas like, hey, man, I'm concerned about you drinking. Hey, I get it, but you're drinking too. You're flirting. Your kids. All the way down in your life and the grittiness of your life. The fourth thing is you're willing to look to someone or be that person that somebody goes to for advice. Proverbs 27:9 says, the pleasantness from a friend springs from earnest counsel. And it means that you have people around you that, man, they've been vulnerable with you and you've been vulnerable with them. And so you trust them. And listen, for that to happen, man, the golden rule is you got to keep your mouth shut. I mean, when somebody shares something with you and it's confidential, you don't want to say anything to anybody else. I mean, if they tattle to you, they'll tattle about you. And so one of the things in getting advice is you want somebody that you can really trust, and you want to be a person that is trustworthy. Listen to what Proverbs says, Proverbs 16:28 and 29. And this is out of the Message, so it's a paraphrase. Troublemakers start fights, gossips break up friendships, calloused climbers betray their own friends, they stab their own grandmothers in the back. I tell you, I read that and I'm like, wow. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty wide open when you take information from a friend and you use it against them to climb the ladder. And we've all seen that happen. We've all probably done that. But let me ask you something before we finish this up, not just about your friends, because I know you've got them figured out, but are you friend material? I mean, are you the kind of person that someone would want to be a friend with? Well, let me give you a little test. One is, are you available? Do you make time for people? I mean, are you willing to be inconvenienced by someone to work on a friendship with them? Number two, are you vulnerable? Are you willing to share some private things? I mean, before you can expect people to do that with you, I mean, you got to be willing to share with them. And the reality is you can never build a friendship just on the surface. Number three, are you honest with people? I mean, are you willing to be honest with other people? And even if it costs you being in the Mean Girl group or being, the Queen of Zeus or whatever, are you willing to challenge someone that you really love because you care about them? And are you patient? Are you willing to listen to them more than you're wanting to talk to them? Or are you okay with pregnant pauses so that they can share with you the things that they're going through? Or are you just always concerned about you? Listen, Jesus said in John chapter 15, I call you friends. In John chapter 18, those very friends stabbed him in the back, and yet he forgave them and he loved them and he still was available to them. If that's happened to you with friendships, maybe it's time for you to say, hey, I'm willing to forgive. I'm willing to move on. I'm willing to try again to be a good friend.